From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And it is 5 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez, and here are your headlines on this August the 19th.
IPS students and teachers will be logging on for their third day of classes this morning. This morning, our Alyssa Donovan takes us behind the scenes of a remote learning classroom.
And after a spike in cases, the University of Notre Dame making big changes on campus. The major restrictions they and other universities across the country are now implementing.
And Governor Holcomb announcing major changes as people in Indiana and across the country push for racial equity. How groups are reacting to his plan requiring body cameras for state police troopers. But first, we want to welcome you in, and thank you for joining our team here on Good Morning Indiana. We have a great day on tap for you. But first, I want to welcome in my colleague, Rafael Sanchez from Johnson County. Hey, Rafael.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So if you step outside right now, you're going to need a light jacket, Todd Clausen, as well as a flashlight. It's still dark out there, but you'll need the jacket more than the flashlight if you want to enjoy a cup of coffee or just go on for a walk so early in the morning.
Yeah, you know, and I encourage you to get out there and enjoy because it's really beautiful, Rafael. Yeah, temperatures in the 50s, so the jacket definitely needed here this morning, but the skies are clear. The air is nice and refreshing. There's no humidity around, and here's the view from IMS looking towards downtown Indianapolis. And when you have clear skies and low humidity and none of that moisture or haze in the air, makes the city skyline look oh so good as it does on this Wednesday morning. We're at 59 now in Indy. So we've dropped a degree since last hour. 54 in Kokomo, Bloomington at 58 degrees, and everybody across central Indiana is in the 50s. Skies are completely clear on your satellite radar picture, and as you look at your temperature trend here throughout the course of the day today, we'll go to about 74 degrees by the noon hour, highs close to 80 degrees, but nothing but sunshine straight across the board. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look right now at traffic, and we're taking you up to the north side. Good morning to you. This is I-465 in Michigan Road, where everything's pretty quiet this morning. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed on Michigan Road and on your interstate. We'll continue to keep our eyes on your roads, but right now, no crashes to slow you down. Rafael?
So here we go. Today, IPS students are now settling in for their third day, Lauren, of virtual learning.
And we know teachers are rising to the challenge, especially when there's a language barrier. Our own Alyssa Donovan joins us live this morning with the details. Hey, Alyssa.
Good morning, you guys. And typically, students in the newcomer program would be coming here to Northwest Middle School. And kids in this program are new to the United States. They learn core content and English at the same time. And this year, they're going to be learning all of that remotely. Rachel Mitchell is taking pictures of her classroom to send to her students.
For them to know that that's the place you are going to go back to. Who knows when, but we will. And so that when they come here, when they actually come here, it's not like a foreign place.
It's one of many preparations the English as a Second Language teacher, or ESL, has made to help connect with her 3rd through 5th grade students via remote learning.
I'm trying to be, again, as creative as I can to think of ways that they can make a connection to school without being here.
Teaching reading and writing to students whose first language is not English comes with challenges when kids are physically in school.
So we put the word family in here, and then we're able to make words using the word families.
The language barrier, an added element for Mitchell when it comes to remotely teaching, which is why she felt it was so important that her setup stayed as familiar as possible.
Teaching from the classroom will give us a lot more opportunity to teach the way we would normally teach, and them see us in action the way they normally would, and have access to the learning that would be more natural for them.
Ensuring students understand how their devices and technology works is going to be a daily review for Mitchell's classes, along with what she calls brain breaks to fight fatigue and keep kids focused.
Sitting in front of the computer for hours on end, it's tiring for us, so we've been thinking of cool ways that we can get the kids moving and active and keeping them engaged, because it's going to be a long day every day.
Mitchell says it's going to be a learning process for everyone. She and other teachers will be swapping ideas as the school year progresses to make remote learning as successful as possible. And Mitchell says one of her biggest concerns is that students won't be logged in at 9 a.m. every day for class. But the district has prepared for that. If a student is not in class by a certain time, they're going to call home, and even teachers are going to video chat them to ensure that everyone is getting their education through this remote learning. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you. So in-person undergraduate classes at Notre Dame are now suspended after a spike in COVID-19 cases on campus. The university says students will take part in remote instruction only for the next 2 weeks. 147 cases have been confirmed since the semester started last week. The university president says that he decided against sending students home after consulting with health experts. But student activity is restricted. That includes limiting access to dorms and major gathering places on campus. And then Greenfield Central High School, their football games have been temporarily suspended after a player tested positive for the virus. According to a letter sent to the parents, the football player began experiencing some symptoms of COVID-19 Monday. All players and members of the football staff are in a 14-day quarantine. The suspension will last through the end of the month. The upcoming games against Plainfield and Whiteland High Schools, those have been canceled. They will not be rescheduled. Raphael?
Good morning to Greencastle, Martinsville, and Kokomo as we continue to cover the news here on Good Morning Indiana. The latest now look at the COVID-19 numbers across our state. And here are the numbers. The State Health Department confirming 850 new cases in their latest report. The total case count has reached more than 81,800. 28 new deaths were also reported, bringing the total now to 2,954. More than 928,000 Hoosiers have been tested so far. The positivity rate, we're told, is now at 8.8% for those who are coming back positive. As the cases continue to rise across the country, doctors are urging state officials to really depend on the data so they can reopen their own states. But officials say not all those results are accurate. ABC's Megan Tevrizian reports.
This morning, new concerns about faulty coronavirus test results. The FDA revealing Tuesday that one of the most widely used tests could be giving invalid or false negative results. The administration also warning that the tests produced by Thermo Fisher Scientific are vulnerable to false negatives if the samples aren't properly processed.
The trouble is there are areas of the country, several, that are actually in community spread.
It comes as states grapple with how to stop the virus from spreading.
You go in, people get infected, boom, they close them down.
In New York City, people coming in from states on the travel advisory list must sign a quarantine form at hotels and short-term rentals before they're issued keys. Hawaii is now postponing tourism until October 1st. Schools across the country are struggling with how to move forward, too. Iowa State finding 175 cases in its first week after testing students moving into residence halls.
Students my age don't really take it seriously or as seriously as it needs to be taken.
The University of Alabama announcing fans will be able to watch football games in person, despite students warning that social distancing is already being ignored by their classmates. And at Notre Dame, students are under 2 weeks of new restrictions after finding 89 new cases on Monday alone. Most of those infections now trace back to off-campus parties.
We can't have these large parties because of the level of asymptomatic spread.
Off-campus parties also to blame for a cluster at the University of Tennessee and North Carolina State. 14% of North Carolina's total cases are now among people aged between 18 and 24.
Megan Tevrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
Well, Governor Eric Holcomb announced some changes to improve racial equity in our state. One measure includes requiring body cameras for Indiana State Police. So they're expected to begin using those late spring of next year. WRTV reached out to the African American Coalition of Indianapolis for their reaction to this plan.
The challenge always with these kinds of situations is, what will be the results? What will be the actual outcomes? And so we have to wait for that. But this is a good first step.
Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter says the department will need to spend about $5 million to purchase the body cameras. We have more from Carter on what the changes mean coming up at 6 o'clock.
Lauren, there are more opportunities to learn about Indigo's Purple Line. The rapid transit line will connect downtown Indianapolis all the way up to the city's northeast side to the city of Lawrence. Today, Indigo will host 2 open houses at Cafe Indy, that's on East 38th Street. The first goes from 11 to 1, the second from 5 to 7:30. Then on Thursday, the public is invited to a Purple Party from 11 to 2 at the Transit Center in downtown Indianapolis. There will be music, giveaways, and updates on the project. You are reminded to wear a mask.
Well, in Greenfield, you have a chance to both save a life and learn a little bit more about big machines that help to put food on your table. Today from 10 until 4, you can give blood at the Koenig John Deere dealership. Because of the nationwide blood shortages, the John Deere dealership thought it would be a great chance for the community to donate blood at a unique location. While you're out there, you can get up close to these tractors and heavy equipment. There will also be some safety demonstrations and hands-on driving opportunities. Oh man, Todd, if that was down closer to my house, we're in a big tractor phase right now with my son Archie, so I think that's a pretty good idea to get people out there.
Yeah, I remember when my nephew went through there, he knew everything. Excavator, Uncle Todd, that's a backhoe and this and that. So you'll get there with Archie, but yeah, you're exactly right. All right, weather-wise, as the kids head off to the bus stop, if they're going off to school, and if they're not going off to school and still doing this remote learning, here's the forecast for them as they look out the window. I'd send them outside, though, burn a little energy. The weather's so nice here this morning. 58 degrees with a mainly clear sky. Once the kids are done with e-learning or come home from school, send them outside as well. Sunny skies and a temperature that's right around the 78 degrees. We're dry today, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Some small storm chances return to the forecast for race day. We'll talk more about the extended forecast for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. Joe Biden officially nominated as the Democratic Party's nominee for president in the Democratic National Convention after a roll call of delegates. Raphael.
And so Scripps correspondent Joe St. George has highlights from the second night of the event and what you can expect on day 3.
Joe Biden officially nominated the Democratic Party's nominee for president on night 2 of the Democratic Convention.
And I'll see you on Thursday.
And while the former vice president will speak at length tomorrow, Dr. Jill Biden speaking last night with the classroom as her backdrop.
And with Joe as president, these classrooms will ring out with laughter and possibility once again.
The evening also featured former presidents who had no problem going after the current commander-in-chief.
You know what Donald Trump will do with 4 more years? Blame, bully, and belittle.
The evening, though, producing some controversy.
I hereby second the nomination of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont.
With progressive Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez not using her time to praise Joe Biden, but rather to formally nominate Bernie Sanders. On Twitter, she clarified that she was just following the convention rules, but some online believed the progressive leader speaks for Sanders supporters, and she deserved more than just a 1-minute speech.
The Biden campaign has said that criticism is unfounded, arguing this is a virtual convention and speaking times vary. But one progressive member of Congress who will have plenty of time tonight will be Senator Kamala Harris, as her story takes center stage.
The partnership of the Biden-Harris ticket is a big focus of this convention.
Biden campaign spokeswoman Kate Bedingfield says the partnership of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is crucial to the campaign and will be in focus as she speaks tonight. But there is a chance the California senator is upstaged. Speaking tonight as well is former President Barack Obama. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
So changes to the Postal Service have been put on hold. That's not stopping election officials from finding options for ways for people to have their votes counted coming up in a matter of weeks. Officials from across the country are looking at installing a lot of more what they call ballot drop boxes. These would be in libraries, community centers, and other public places. This would allow ballots to reach election officials without going through the mail. States like Oregon, Washington, and Colorado have been successfully using the ballot drop boxes now for several years.
Well, it's the day that some of his victims say they've been waiting decades for, a chance to come face to face with Joseph James DeAngelo Jr., the Golden State Killer. The former police officer who admitted to killing 13 people and raping dozens of women in a series of attacks all over California will sit in a courtroom today for the second day to hear from some of the people whom he hurt. Dozens of victims and victims' families will speak in sessions through Thursday. In yesterday's hearing, they recounted the pain D'Angelo caused, some describing hours of torture. 74-year-old D'Angelo entered a guilty plea and will officially be sentenced Friday to life in prison without parole.
Fires continue to burn across California this morning. 4 firefighters have been injured and multiple homes destroyed as the river fire rages near Salinas. The flames have burned now 4,000 acres after it began early Sunday morning. Fire officials believe a lightning strike started the flames. Right now, it is less than 10% contained. Nearby, the Carmel fire just began yesterday, along with 4 others across that state. Now time to check your local forecast. And Todd, boy, what a different look we have here in central Indiana.
Yeah, you know, it's been pretty wet here throughout the course of this month. We've had quite a bit of rainfall, and I look at my yard, and a lot of times in August I'm having to water it, and the grass is really, really nice and green and growing quite well. And that's good for all the crops, obviously, as well here in central Indiana. No rain in the forecast today. We got that out of the way yesterday morning. And today is going to be sunny from start to finish. That's the headline for you there, right at the bottom of the graphic. And you can see how it breaks down this morning. Temperatures are in the 50s in almost all locations. This afternoon, nothing but sunshine, and this evening, just near perfect with temperatures that will be in the 70s and lots of sunshine out there this evening until sunset at 8:35. 59 in Indy right now, 54 in Kokomo. 58 is the current temperature in Bloomington, still holding on to a 60-degree reading there in Greenwood. The rain from yesterday is well down to the south. The clouds are down there as well. Pay no attention to some of that feedback that you see there north of Richmond on radar. That is not rain. We are crystal clear anywhere you go this morning. Here's how your temperatures break down throughout the morning hours. The sky is not really going to change. It's mostly sunny from start to finish, so all we really need to focus on today are the temperatures, and we're at 70 degrees already by 11 a.m., so we warm really, really quick. By the time we get to 2 p.m., the temperature is up to 76 degrees, and then throughout the course of the evening hours, or late afternoon hours, I guess we should say, temperatures will be in the upper 70s with those mostly sunny skies this evening. As I mentioned, the sun sets a little after 8:30, and the temperatures at that point cooling from 74 down to 71 degrees with that clear sky. Looking ahead into the overnight hours tomorrow morning, very similar to what we're experiencing this morning. Temperatures that will be in the 50s in almost all locations. Great sleeping weather for you, and then throughout the day tomorrow, it's a day very similar to today. The only difference is tomorrow probably a degree or two warmer in the afternoon. You see that 80 degree at 4 p.m. Temperature at 4 p.m. is 80 degrees. We'll probably top off around 81 to 82 degrees, I think, in between the hours tomorrow afternoon. Friday, 60 degrees to start, so a little bit warmer in the morning, a little bit of a warmer finish as well, up to 84 in the afternoon. And then we get to the all-important race weekend. Saturday, 85 degrees, should be really nice out there, 86. Unfortunately, the chance of a spot storm on race day. That shouldn't be a major factor, though. It's only about a 20% chance of an isolated storm. More storm chances Monday, and then Tuesday looks great, 87 degrees with mostly sunny skies. So a little bit of a fall-like feel here this morning, Lauren. But as we go into the middle and end of the week, we get that summer-like feel back across the area.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this Wednesday morning. Right now, it's pretty quiet here in the downtown area. This is a live look at I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. No crashes, no lane closures right now to slow down your commute. Great news here if you're heading into downtown for work this morning. Raphael?
So, Lauren, some schools, as you know, are still getting ready for their first day. And some Catholic schools in New York City, they're preparing for their first day by installing some new technology that you just have to see. They're installing kiosks that can automatically take students' temperatures and see if kids are wearing masks before entering the classroom. The company that makes the technology says it's an automated way to help monitor safety without bias.
This is more focused, individual, one kid at a time, self-containing, and non-intrusive.
So each COVID kiosk costs almost $3,000.
Well, the U.S. Open is set to start at the end of the month, but there will be a new type of game official there this year. 40 social distance ambassadors have been hired to monitor the national tennis tournament. They'll make sure players and others are wearing face coverings and avoiding close contact. The U.S. Tennis Association will also be distributing 500,000 masks that it bought to help enforce these rules. There will be no fans allowed at the tournament.
So listen up, Girl Scouts have added a new cookie. Sign me up. I'll buy a dozen boxes. After the break, the breakfast-inspired flavor and why you might have to get creative to find them. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. So, Raphael, most people have a go-to Girl Scout cookie. For me, it is Samoas. Those are the chocolate and coconut ones, but I also like tagalongs and Thin Mints, pretty much anything with chocolate on it. What's your favorite?
You and I have a connection here.
Okay.
I'm also a Samoa guy. I can eat them by the dozen.
Yeah.
I think they're always low cal, low fat, low sugar, so I just eat the whole box in a sitting. But listen, there's a new one to try, and you may even want to eat it for breakfast.
Okay.
It's a French toast inspired cookie. It's called Toast Yay! It'll be available next cookie season, which officially starts in January, but you may have to get creative to find them. The Toast Yay will unfortunately not be offered in the 45 counties served by the Girl Scouts of Indiana. And that's because the bakeries that provide the cookies are not making the new flavors here. So you might have to check with friends and family out of state to test it out. Regardless, please support the Girl Scouts and buy dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of cookies. Right, Todd Clausen? You love a box of cookies. What's your favorite?
I like the Thin Mints, obviously, and I can't remember the name of them. The lemony ones, you'll have to help me out.
I know which ones you're talking about, but I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I can't think of the name.
Regardless, send Todd Clausen 12 dozen of the lemony ones. He will eat them.
I like the Samoas, and this is the time of the year when the old suit jacket starts to get a little tighter from all the Girl Scout cookies, but obviously a great cause. All right, outside this morning we are dealing with quiet conditions and temperatures that are sitting in the 50s. Here's your temperature trend throughout the morning hours. Once the sun comes up a little after 7 o'clock here, we will have mostly sunny skies. You see that noontime temperature at 74 degrees as we transition into the afternoon. Highs will hold pretty steady in the upper 70s. Just an all-around terrific day for us. We'll talk more about race weekend for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
As IPS students settle into remote learning, some are facing additional challenges. Now at 5:30, our own Alyssa Donovan shows us the difficulties English language learners have to overcome.
Plus, in Democracy 2020, Joe Biden is now officially the Democratic presidential candidate. This morning, a look at his come-from-behind victory and where the party hopes to go as it sets to face off against President Trump in November. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday, August the 19th. Lauren, if you step outside, it is simply wonderful. I mean, it is so cool. You think, is this May? Is this April? Is this really August? What's going on?
I know, it's so nice out. You may even want a little light jacket if you are heading out early this morning. And so for more details on what you can expect, let's check in with Todd Clausen. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, and Raphael and Lauren, you're exactly right. You know, temperatures in the 50s here this morning and even creeping down close to the upper 40s in some northern locations. So as you walk out the door, you're exactly right. Most of you probably will appreciate having the light jacket handy. And the good news is, though, you won't have to hold on to it very long. Once the sun comes up, we'll see our temperatures moderate pretty quickly. The other things you need to grab before you go, the sunglasses, you'll need those throughout the entire day. And just remember that the sun is still pretty strong. So even though temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler today, you don't have the humidity around, you can still get sunburned pretty quickly. So make sure you have the sunscreen handy. The skies are completely clear. Beautiful shot of the city. Temperatures range from about 59 in Indy to 54 in Kokomo. Where are we going here throughout the day today? Well, with sunny skies, we'll top off in the upper 70s, exactly where we were yesterday afternoon with a high of 79 degrees. So enjoy this wonderful Wednesday. Some changes heading into the weekend. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's travel down to the south side. Good morning to you in Johnson County, parts of Greenwood. This is I-65. A view here at County Line Road. As you're heading in and out of the county, you shouldn't have any problems on your drive. Everything's traveling up to speed and all lanes are open at this early hour. Raphael?
Lauren, virtual learning is a new challenge simply for everyone, for teachers, for students, and parents. And for one IPS program, they're working on their issues, of course, to overcome another challenge, which is that of a language barrier. Alyssa Donovan joins us live this morning with the details. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Raphael. Typically, students within the newcomer program would be coming here to Northwest Middle School, but like all IPS students, they are now doing remote learning, which comes with some additional challenges. Students within this program are new to the United States, so English is not their first language. Along with their core content, they are also learning English from their teachers, all virtually this year, which is a bit of a hurdle. We spoke with Rachel Mitchell, who teaches English as a second language to 3rd through 5th graders. Before school started this week, she sent some pictures of the classroom to her students. That way, if and when they return to in-person learning, they're familiar with the setting. Teaching reading and writing to students whose first language is not English comes with challenges when kids are physically in school. The language barrier, an added element for Mitchell when it comes to remotely teaching, which is why she felt it was so important that her setup stayed as familiar as possible, which is why she'll be rolling around a cart with her laptop on it, showing students how to sound out words on her whiteboard and teaching them greetings through her handwritten charts. Along with English, reading, and writing lessons, remote learning also means helping students learn new technology. Mitchell says she'll be reviewing how to use the remote devices and Microsoft Teams daily, along with what she calls brain breaks to fight fatigue and keep kids focused.
Sitting in front of the computer for hours on end, it's tiring for us, so we've been thinking of cool ways that we can get the kids moving and active and keeping them engaged, because it's going to be a long day every day.
Mitchell says it's going to be a learning process for everyone. She and other teachers will be swapping ideas as the school year progresses to make remote learning as successful as possible. And Mitchell told me those brain breaks, or brain intervals as she also called them, are going to be things like standing up and doing breathing exercises like yoga, also pounding on a drum, and the students will pound back to get their attention, as well as small dances and little exercises just to keep the blood flowing and keep them energized throughout the workday. I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you. Back here at home, Governor Eric Holcomb announced plans to tackle racial injustice in our state. The plan includes a new Chief Officer of Equity, Inclusion, and Opportunity. That position will be dedicated to working with state agencies to improve equality in the workplace with government services. The Equity Officer will report to Governor Holcomb. He also said every frontline state trooper will wear a body camera by next spring, and he also proposed reviewing state police training.
I will direct a third-party, top-down review of our state police and law enforcement academy curriculum and training. This can confirm good practices, but it can also help us modernize how we train our officers. We'll look at areas like use of force, de-escalation training, and implicit bias training.
Well, last week, the Black Legislative Caucus called for body and dash cams for police agencies statewide. Dr. Woody Myers, Holcomb's Democratic opponent in November, tweeted a response saying, quote, "My opponent, as usual, offers much too little and much too late," end quote. Myers is the first black major party nominee for Indiana governor.
Along with the governor's initiative, a local organization is working to address those inequities, as well as creating more opportunities for black-owned businesses across Indiana and really the Midwest. So meet Tiana Thompson. She started Black-Owned Midwest. The group, which has about 3,400 members, connects black businesses owners with one another. It also supports the Buy Black movement, an initiative that encourages people to support black and minority-owned businesses across the state and the country.
Black-owned Midwest has been a great, I guess, kind of connector between a local community growth spot and the local community surrounding.
Buying Black is in right now just because of the movement, and I found that a lot of people, no matter what skin tone you are in, they want to support black businesses.
Black-owned Midwest plans to launch a week of fundraising next month. The goal is to raise money to buy a property for a learning hub. You can learn more about this on our website, WRTV.com.
Today, city leaders will discuss plans to help downtown Indianapolis rebound as this pandemic continues. Mayor Joe Hogsett and the president of Downtown Indy Inc. will announce city funding for new initiatives that have been developed by the Downtown Recovery Committee. Officials say this dedicated funding is part of a comprehensive plan to address the immediate economic, public health, and public safety challenges facing downtown. The details will be announced at 11 o'clock this morning.
Now to the latest of the pandemic in our state. 850 more Hoosiers have tested positive here in Indiana. That brings the total number of infections to 81,847. The overall positivity rate has dropped a bit to 8.8%, and the 7-day positivity rate has also dropped to 7.8%. 28 additional deaths were also reported. That's the highest daily reported increase since June the 6th. A total of 2,954 people in our state have lost their lives due to COVID-19.
Well, Joe Biden officially became the Democratic presidential nominee during day 2 of the DNC. Democrats are now hard at work to show that he can appeal to a large tent of supporters. ABC's Inez de la Catera is in Washington right now with the latest.
Very, very much.
Former Vice President Joe Biden officially becoming the Democratic nominee for president, with his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, by his side, closing out the second night of a virtual DNC.
The heart of this nation still beats with kindness and courage. That's the soul of America Joe Biden is fighting for now.
From former President Bill Clinton.
The difference is stark. You know what Donald Trump will do with 4 more years? Blame, bully, and belittle. And you know what Joe Biden will do? Build back better.
To the 17 rising star Democrats that spoke in lieu of a traditional keynote address. Democrats working hard to show that the party is united and calling members of all groups and ages to get out and vote.
I've been doing this for a long time, so let me just be plain. Black people, especially black women, are the backbone of this party. And if we don't show up, Democrats don't get elected.
For a second night, the party also making a point to feature Republicans, like former George W. Bush Secretary of State Colin Powell, who threw his support behind Biden.
Our country needs a commander-in-chief who takes care of our troops in the same way he would his own family.
And Cindy McCain speaking in a touching video about Biden's friendship with her late husband, Republican Senator John McCain.
They would just sit and joke. It was like a comedy show sometimes to watch the two of them.
Meanwhile, President Trump trying to distract attention from the Democrats out on the stump in critical swing states.
This election that we're going into is the most important election in the history of our country. Because we had crooked Hillary, but this is something, these people are sick.
Tonight, it'll be former President Barack Obama's turn to speak. A spokesperson tells ABC News he plans to warn that democracy itself is on the line and outline why Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris have the character and experience needed to lead America out of the COVID-19 crisis. Inez de la Catera, ABC News, Washington.
One of Joe Biden's 2020 challengers, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, appeared during that virtual roll call of states to show his support for Biden. In his endorsement, Buttigieg described his city's revitalization. He said with Biden as president that our state of Indiana could lead the nation's economic recovery from the pandemic.
The Hoosier State is ready to lead America's recovery with our diverse communities, our talented workers, and our best in the world agriculture. Joe Biden's plan gives us a blueprint to revitalize industrial cities and rural areas alike.
The roll call included representatives from 57 states and U.S. territories. As speakers included teachers, small business owners, essential workers, and many others. Time now to check your forecast on this Wednesday. It will be a wonderful Wednesday. Todd Clausen, you get a pay raise today.
All right, I'll take that any day, Raphael. It's really, as you mentioned, going to be wonderful out there because we'll have low humidity, temperatures right around 80 degrees later on this afternoon, and we'll have sunny skies from start to finish throughout the day today. And you really need to enjoy today because over the coming days, the humidity's coming back. Not so much tomorrow. Tomorrow it's still very comfortable. So if you can't take advantage of today for some reason and get outdoors, tomorrow will be another good opportunity to do so. But then on the muggy meter, you notice as we head into the weekend, we're getting back up into that muggy category. It's almost very humid. High temperatures today with the sunshine, 78 in Muncie, as well as Kokomo, 80 in Lafayette. In the metro area, right around 80 degrees. And to the south, everybody is within a couple degrees of each other as well. We'll talk more about that warmer weekend forecast and look ahead to race day coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. It is 5:46. The U.S. Postal Service is caught in the middle of some political drama. It's accused of making changes that could impact mail-in voting during the pandemic. Now the agency is backing off some controversial changes, and John Lawrence has the details.
The U.S. Postal Service pausing changes that have slowed mail delivery, such as removing sorting machines and cutting overtime. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy says they'll be put on hold until after the 2020 election.
Not good enough. Not even close. And so I will not rest, and we will not stop in our legal efforts. This case is going forward.
Numerous states say they are planning to file federal lawsuits aimed at reversing the recent changes. DeJoy, a supporter and ally of the president, says he was trying to boost the struggling Postal Service's bottom line.
The post office is running as well as it has in a long time.
But some Democratic leaders accuse the USPS of undermining mail-in voting, which President Trump has frequently blasted.
The Democrats want to make it a political issue. It's not a political issue. It's really about a correct vote.
In addition to concerns about voting by mail, some say the operational changes have hindered mail delivery.
The United States Postal Service should not be politicized. People rely on it for medication, for important documents.
50% of the world's mail is sent through this institution, the U.S. Postal Service, and we are getting our posts slowed down because of things that are going on because of politics.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
New evacuations now being ordered in California's wine country this morning. This after a series of lightning-caused wildfires broke out both in Napa and Sonoma counties. Take a closer look at these images. The lightning complex fires have collectively burned at least 12,000 acres just since Tuesday afternoon. In Napa County, the Hennessy fire continues to burn with 0% containment. Several school districts in the area are also closed this morning because of the fires and evacuations. California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a statewide emergency to help ensure the availability of vital resources to combat the multiple fires now burning across the Golden State. And Todd, a difficult situation to see out there. You'd think that they could use some of those downpours that we saw here yesterday, but sometimes those downpours can cause mudslides in California. So it's a tough thing all the way around.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of times if there's thunderstorms, there's gusty winds, and that can help to fan the flames. So yeah, definitely a tough situation when they fight those forest fires out there, or really anywhere for that matter. Here in central Indiana this morning, it is all quiet and it is really, really comfortable. That is the good news. Temperatures right now are in the 50s in most locations. A couple 60s down there to the south still, but 59 in Indy. 56 is the current temperature in Peru, as well as Tipton, and Muncie sitting at 55 degrees. Here's a live look from downtown off towards the east, and the city skyline looking absolutely terrific here this morning. Look at the War Memorial there on the left-hand side of your screen, all lit up, and of course Salesforce Tower right there in the center of the skyline there. Radar, quiet. It's this way for a couple days. We really don't bring any storm chances back into the forecast here, unfortunately, until race day. But even then, as I'll show you in just a few minutes, it's going to be very, very spotty. The clouds from yesterday and the rain obviously well down to our south. Temperatures here this morning will stay in the 50s through about 8 a.m. And then once the sun gets higher over the horizon, notice how the temperatures do start to warm up into the 70s as we head into the 11 o'clock hour. And then this afternoon, get outside and enjoy. Absolutely terrific. Highs in the upper 70s today with temperatures that will just be a little bit below normal. And then this evening, sunset is at 8:35 and it's a near perfect evening for us. Tomorrow morning, very similar to today. We are in the 50s, 53 in Peru, 57 in Indy, 54 the overnight low as you make your way down into the Columbus area. And then throughout the day tomorrow, sunny skies from start to finish. Just a touch warmer tomorrow as we work our way into the afternoon hours. And then that warming trend will continue into the weekend. As we head into race day, a spot storm chance right now. It looks to only be about a 20% chance, and that would be a very isolated downpour here and there across the area. But the temperatures remain warm into next week, Lauren, with high temperatures that'll be in the 80s.
All right, Todd, looking forward to that. Thank you so much. So the NBA playoffs are getting underway 4 months later than planned, and the Pacers earned the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference.
So I watched the game, not happy with the score, but that's okay. We'll make a comeback. Brad Brown reports on the Heat's early series lead.
Familiar foes in the first round of the playoffs. The teams just played each other twice last week. Tuesday's Game 1 got off to a less tthan ideal start for the Pacers. Just 8.5 minutes in, Victor Oladipo got poked in the eye going for a rebound. Turned out to be a pretty significant scratch, and Oladipo would have to leave the game. He did not return. The offense would be there early on, though. TJ Warren scored 9 of his team best 22 points in the opening quarter. Pacers scored 33 in the first, opened an 8-point lead. Malcolm Brogdon did what he could in Vic's absence, a dunk to close out the first half. He also scored 22, but Miami would turn in a 4-point lead at halftime. In the third, a run by the Heat would put them up by 10. Bam Adebayo with some aggressive play all afternoon. He scored 17 for Miami. Pacers cut it to 1 at the end of the third. TJ McConnell pulls up and hits 81-80 at that quarter break, but Miami dominated the final frame. Goran Dragic hit for 13 points in a 5-minute stretch, and Jimmy Butler would lead all scorers for the Heat with 28 points. 113-101 when it was finished. It's Miami getting the 1-0 lead in the best-of-7 series.
The dynamics change. That's been one of our strengths all season, is we haven't had everybody, every guy throughout the, down the stretch. So, usually we've been able to overcome it, but that's a really good team on the other side. So, now we got to adjust. We know what we're dealing with or without Vic. We got to be able to adjust and play basketball. They picked up their intensity the second half, starting with the third quarter. I thought we did a better job of taking care of the ball, but the fourth quarter we started to turn the ball over more, in that they executed going down the stretch.
They capitalized on our mistakes late in the game, and they was hitting shots. We had a couple of defensive mistakes, and they made us pay.
After the game, the Pacers said Oladipo visited the league's clinic on site. His eye injury is not expected to be serious. He's officially listed as day-to-day for now. The teams will play every other day in the first round. Game 2 coming up on Thursday will be an early tip at 1 p.m. Game 3 Saturday, Game 4 next Monday. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
It is 5:57 here. So, Raphael, I know you just moved both kids into college, so you guys are empty nesters again, so you don't have to worry about this at all in your house. But we know courts across the globe, they are cracking down on adult children who just refuse to get out of their parents' care.
So as I read the script during the commercial break, Laura, I was thinking to myself, say what? You see, the Supreme Court in Italy recently ruled against a 35-year-old music teacher who was still expecting his parents, get this, to give him a monthly allowance of, say what, $360 a month. No way. Woo. No way. The court said that the man needed to search for a job to ensure his financial independence, and that financial support of parents could not continue indefinitely. right on. You may remember that 2 years ago, a New York court made a similar ruling when a 30-year-old man was sued by his parents after he refused to move out of their home. The big message here, of course, is just love your family. So we're going to move on. The tip jar is out, though, this morning to give Todd Clausen some cash since we can't find coins on what is a very good forecast.
It is a A+ in the forecast here for Raphael for the day today, as we'll have plenty of sunshine, low humidity, and temperatures this morning that are cool. I just went outside to check on things, and there's a little bit of a breeze out there as well. And look at that temperature in Kokomo now, 51 degrees, 52 in Logansport, 59 still in Indianapolis, despite the cool start today. Absolutely beautiful this afternoon with lots of sunshine and a high temperature of 79 degrees. Time's 5:58. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. Stay with us. We're back at the top of the hour.